Alright guys, what's going on? It's Efrum Derz, back at it again with another video. I just like saying that. But on a serious note, we've had some bad news this week, and we just want to give him his time, give him his spotlight, because he's been an amazing player for Liverpool FC. It's the passing of Diogo Jota and his brother, Andre Silva, which is just, it's horrible news. We're 27, Diogo Jota was 28, so he's only a year older than us, so it's, it just goes to show how short and unpredictable life can really be, so take every moment, don't take it for granted, but it's just sad, Huge player, huge family, he had just got married, he just won the Nations League, and he just won the Premier League, all within a month. When you think everything's going fine, all fine and dandy, you're driving the Lamborghini. That's the last thing you expect. You pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for those cars, and a tire malfunction. I don't know too much of the details, but
I don't think much of the details have been released besides that.
yeah, I just heard it was a tire malfunction. I don't know if they crashed or that or something, but apparently the car exploded, and yeah, they both died. I don't know if on instant, whatever, but point is, they're not with us now, but this just sucks because they were good, they were ballers, good people from what everybody's been saying. I never met the guy, but I loved him. He played for my team. He scored goals. He was crucial. Under Arne Slot, I think he was the best striker we had. Unfortunately, he had many injuries this season, but he's done a lot with us. He's helped us win the league, and he was one of us. He played video games, FIFA specifically, and he was really good at it. He was living the dream. Played FIFA in real life. So, what else can you want? But now God has taken him with him. But we guess we just go on to live his legacy, shine a light on him, and never forget.
Yeah, he was very crucial for Portugal. Also, typically coming off the bench, but nonetheless, he was a baller. It looks like it seems like Liverpool's gonna respect his contract and pay out his family the rest of his contract, which is very nice to see because they don't necessarily have to do that.
And they don't do that. It's part of, typically if someone dies, you just cut off the contract right there.
Yeah, and on top of that, I heard also that they're gonna continue to pay the children's education for however far they want to go with it. It's very, very saddening, but it is life. So our condolences go out to the Jota family. But yeah, life keeps on moving, and football keeps on going. So we got a lot to talk about.
We do. And speaking on what to talk about, at the moment we have the Gold Cup final, actually coming up in about 4 hours, Mexico, USA, and then we have semifinals for the Club World Cup with Real Madrid, PSG, and on the other side we got Chelsea and Palmeiras. Fluminense. Yeah, and big games. I would have liked to see Real Madrid and PSG on opposite sides of the bracket so we could see them in the final, but Chelsea and Fluminense will do. In my opinion, I think Real Madrid PSG is the final, but it's a Club World Cup, It's not like it's a Champions League. But I'm really looking forward to that game. Real Madrid, PSG, Mbappe going back to the team that he left, and they continue to win on everything without him. Something I did want to talk about, the PSG Bayern game. That Musiala injury, man. Ooh, I don't know if you guys seen it, but yeah, bro, instant just leg
Snap.
to the other side. I was like, like he's not supposed to be doing that, but. And then just his face, his face said it all. He was just screaming. And, Donnarumma landed on it. It's very unfortunate, unlucky. As soon as he looked at it, I don't know, I seen him just cover his eyes. I don't know if he was crying or not, but, I'm pretty sure that's the last thing he wanted, But hopefully, they expect 4 to 5 months. He broke his fibula and a couple tendons. 4 or 5 months, we'll see. So we're hoping for him for a speedy recovery as well.
He's very young, which is kind of like the positive side about it, I guess, because if he was older, it might have been a career-ending injury. But he's still young, great talent. I think underrated, kind of as far as talents go. You never really hear Musiala's name besides maybe 2-3 years ago. He was kind of in everybody's. Radar, but he's kind of gone below the radar these past 2 seasons. But he's still a baller. Like you said, Donnarumma probably most likely did not go in with the intention of doing that. It is a contact sport, so these are injury. You gotta expect some sort of injuries. And I think I said in the first podcast, when we're talking about the Club World Cup, I just hope there was no injuries, just because. We all know higher workloads, more games can cause, the injuries. This was more of a contact injury. It wasn't like someone tore their ACL, which you'll see in other sports because of high amounts of game and stuff. This is just an unfortunate situation, and it's sad, but it is what it is. So hopefully, speedy recovery to Jamal. But he'll be good. I think he'll be fine. But now Bayern really needs to get a winger this season.
Yeah, bigger reason now.
To really go into that transfer market.
They already wanted a left wing.
Mm-hmm.
They've been looking. They were looking at Nico Williams, Leao, Gakpo,
Martinelli, Rodrigo.
Liverpool. They started even looking at Luis Diaz. Liverpool gave him the fat no. But now Musiala. 4 or 5 months. We're in July. Season starts in 2 months. He's gonna miss 3 months. It's a big chunk. So yeah, I would look into someone. At least for those couple months. They're already looking for a winger, so I wonder if they'll bring 2, maybe a big name and maybe a young prospect.
Someone that could do the job for now, help support Jamal Musiala as he recovers, and not put so much of a burden for him to return as soon as possible. Just give him that confidence that he doesn't have to be back as soon as possible, that he could take his time with his recovery, so he doesn't get re-injured again. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the transfer window. What a game though! You're 2 players down. PSG gets 2 red cards, and they still end up winning 2-0. There's a lot of offside goals from Bayern. They were offside though, so you can't really complain about that. Maybe unlucky from Bayern from maybe playing their runs into a little bit too quickly, or maybe on the other side, those are very smart tactics and very organized defensive movements from PSG to be able to press their line as soon as the ball gets played in and play the outside trap. But nonetheless, this PSG is scary.
They really are. They've been in the Champions League. They doubted me every time. Coming into this Bayern game, I was like, no, this is PSG's game. They're looking like the truth. But people told me, no, it's Bayern though. It's they're gonna show them so they've been having a fluke. Now, I don't know, but today just shows that PSG's the truth. They look strong, even with the player down. Bayern, wasn't able to penetrate through. So cool. And even with 2 players down, they weren't able to penetrate, but even, counter and get another goal in. So just goes to show whatever they got cooking up over there is working, and everybody's been putting in 110%. So, that's why I'm really looking forward to this Real Madrid PSG game, because Real Madrid is coming in like they got something improved. They didn't do much this past season. PSG has done it all, so they want to be able to hold their belt against the big dogs like Madrid, and Real Madrid's just here to crash the party. So That's gonna be a really good game. But yeah, PSG's looking really good.
Yeah, I think PSG is looking extremely nasty on the counters. They like to kind of absorb the pressure and then just release their wingers who are extremely fast. Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, Ousmane Dembélé, Barcola. They all kind of rotate. They're all wingers, yet they all play on both sides of the wing, striker, everything. They just have this crazy movement, and they just exploit those counterattacks, and they're super dangerous. It's almost crazy. They know what they're doing though. Their tactic, as soon as the game starts, they immediately boot it into the opponent's final third, give them a throw-in to try to press them, because their press is very, very good, and they know that they could exploit that and try to get as much people into the opponent's final third that way. And it's unprecedented sort of tactics. You never see someone like immediately just give away the ball, but they just believe in that sort of, we're going to press you and we're going to take advantage of that situation, and this is what's actually going to benefit us into creating an attacking opportunity rather than us holding the ball and touching around you to try to find the space. So it's very interesting. We'll see how Real Madrid tries to counter that, but we'll see. I think Real Madrid's done really good, but I'm not very convinced as far as who they've played against to really say, oh, this new Real Madrid is definitely good. We've been seeing Mbappe coming off the bench instead of starting lately. Could it be because he was sick and he's not at that match fitness yet? Or is it that Xabi Alonso just really has faith in this new Gonzalo Garcia guy, who has been, in his defense, scoring?
I think obviously Mbappe was sick. Give this guy a shot. He's been performing, doing good. The last thing you really want, I feel like, as a coach,
is to kill his momentum.
Kill his momentum. Oh, Mbappe comes back. All right, now you're never going to play again. No, give him the time. Give him the start. He's been playing well, and this isn't like necessarily a huge. It's a Club World Cup. It's not Champions League, so it's not like you could take risk, and I know they still want to win it, but you'd rather not, kill his momentum, his spirit over this tournament. That's not anything is with greater magnitude,
I think, well, sure, this isn't such an important title, but I think Real Madrid is taking it serious because they went trophyless this season. Mm-hmm. So I think on that side of the coin, I guess you could say, I think they are taking it serious. And again, you don't want to kill someone's momentum, but then it's like, it's Mbappe, It's not like we're choosing between two like strikers that are within each other's quality. Mm-hmm. I think Mbappe is just a different breed, and Gonzalo Garcia could be something great, but is he that person right now? No. So I wonder what's going on in Xabi Alonso's head. Is it I don't want to kill his momentum? Is it that he really does see this guy being his starting striker for the next season, yeah, and maybe he's going to try to put Mbappe on the right wing, Vinny kind of rotate Vinny and Mbappe maybe next season? Who knows? Another thing that I've noticed with Real Madrid is some players aren't really playing. Rodrigo specifically, I think he's going to.
Which is weird because when Xabi Alonso first came in, there's been rumors about Rodrigo leaving, and then the first thing Xabi Alonso said was, he's a big part of our plan. We don't plan on, I would like him to stay. So you would have thought, all right, coming into this World Cup, let's see how he's been playing, but he hasn't been playing much.
Yeah, and
maybe he takes back those words, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he saw something and then he realized, because he started off, I think, the first couple of games playing a 4-3-3, with not his traditional style of play, mm-hmm. Xabi Alonso's, and now he's kind of really reverted and went back to his 3-4-2-1, and maybe Rodrigo doesn't fit that system, and maybe Rodrigo, in his eyes, was going to be within his 4-3-3 system, but now that he's switching back to the 3-4-2-1 system, he doesn't fit that system. I think he does, personally, because he's a very techie player who is pretty good with both feet, and he's not. I don't see him so much as an out winger like Vinny. Vinny likes to get wide, I think Rodrigo likes to come in, and in a 3-4-2-1 with the inverted wingers kind of tucked in, I would have assumed Rodrigo fits this system better than Vinny, and I would have assumed Vinny would have been the person on the bench. But it looks like Xabi Alonso sees the system another way. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Real Madrid in this transfer window. I personally prefer Rodrigo over Vinicius. I think Vinicius is a bit selfish at times.
I agree.
But who knows? Vinny is very, very fast, faster than Rodrigo. Rodrigo is very techy, but he's not so much like Vinicius. Vinicius, I think, always looks for the meg and always looks for like the fantasy play, while Rodrigo is more efficient, I think, with his dribbles. But he's been played out of position since he joined Real Madrid, which I think is unfair to him. And for Rodrigo's sake, I would like to see him go to somewhere where he's going to play on that left wing every game. So, me personally, I would say cash out, sell him if you're not going to play him, because he's too good of a player to be on the bench. And Real Madrid could use that money to try to bolster another area. Maybe try to find... I think they have a very, very good squad. The only weakness I kind of see is potentially... we'll see how Militao comes back and stuff, but I would think about another center back or maybe another left wing back in this case.
Especially if he ever considers moving to a 3-4-2-1 like he likes to play.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna need more center backs.
Yeah, 3 center backs instead of 2, so then you're gonna need to have a lot more depth in that position because
at least 2 bench, at least 5.
Yeah, in total. So we'll see what happens after this tournament. This is a best case scenario, I think, for Xabi Alonso to have a tournament like this right as he gets here to see, okay, what's working, what's not working, what do I need, what am I okay with letting go, and that's just going to set him up for the next season. So we'll see what happens there. It'll be interesting. I guess in kind of related news, I think Subimendi just got official with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Real Madrid was interested in him because Xabi Alonso has that link with Real Sociedad, and he coached him when he was in the youth academy, when Xabi Alonso was the youth academy coach. So he definitely wanted him, but now he's with Arsenal. So that's another player that they can't really tap into. So it'll be interesting to see where they take this new direction for this next season. But overall, their game against Borussia Dortmund was relatively comfortable. The last 10 minutes, though.
Quick scare. I mean, more than a quick scare because, they were up 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Dortmund gets a goal. Real Madrid gets another one, it's 3-1. And then instantly, the next play, a penalty. All right, and this is already 90 plus. You think, all right, they're going to score, boom, that's it. Game. It didn't even matter. It was 3-1, 3-2. And then they still get a last-minute chance. Dortmund with Sabitzer.
With the off the volley,
just
beautiful shot, and Courtois.
Bottom corner, and Courtois just gets a strong hand on that ball. And you can see the ball bounce behind his hand.
Yeah, so it definitely came in with a lot of pace.
And Courtois, man, he's just so clutch for Real Madrid. As much as I hate, saying that, because I don't hate saying that, I agree with that, because those games against Liverpool in the final where he's been man of the match, and he's been man of the match for many games too, not just against Liverpool, but he's a beast, man, and that game just showed it. When it comes time to it, he won't be caught slacking, but it was still a scary time. No matter how comfortable Real Madrid was 80 minutes of that game, it all came down to that, and if they let that slip by, it goes in, they already had a red card, so they would have had to do 30 minutes with one man less, potential penalties. They could have just thrown the game out like that, with just by, being caught sleeping a bit.
Yeah, I think it was a soft red card.
I agree.
I don't think that merited a red card because there's 2 defenders on the one striker. Sure, he's going clear on goal, but he's not necessarily last man. And he doesn't it's not like an aggressive tackle, like you would say, I
think his foot got the ball, but he
pulled him.
He pulled, but it was still it wasn't a ridiculous pull, and there was 2 of them, so it was, I don't know, maybe just because it's a chance on goal. They gave it a red. It's like a super soft red though, but I mean, just unfortunate for Foyson. He's going to miss against
PSG, but also PSG is going to miss out on Pacho and Lucas Hernandez. So 2 defenders on their side as well. The Lucas Hernandez red card was also soft. And did you see that one?
I didn't see that one.
He jumps up and he kind of elbows him, but it's not like he came in and threw the elbow. He came up like this, just because that's a natural movement when you try to jump for the header.
Yeah.
He came up like this to try to like protect himself, to not let the attacker kind of get in his space. And unfortunately, the other guy didn't jump, so his elbow was at face level, and he kind of hits him.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a red card. Yellow card for sure.
A bit brutal.
A bit
brutal.
But so that's that side of the tie. We'll move on to the other side of the tie. We had Al Hilal, Fluminense, and Palmeiras versus Chelsea.
I mean, Chelsea, Palmeiras, playing against a young player who's going to come to Chelsea, you know. So I'm pretty sure Esteban. And you know, being in his shoes, you're playing against a team who you're moving to. You know, I feel like you're going to come in wanting to perform, and he got a really good goal in. Tough angle, hits it hard, top of the roof of the goal, and gets a goal in. I think Chelsea dominated the game. They had twice as many shots, 60 plus possession, and just had, you know, better chances. And as you'd expect, you know, but Palmeiras gave it their all. He gave it his all. Chelsea, I think, comfortably won that one. What was the other one? Al Hilal and Fluminense. That was a. Can't remember if I'm thinking of the other Al Hilal game.
It was 2-1.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Al Hilal City. Yeah, that one was 2-1. But I didn't really watch that one. I was thinking about it.
You were getting a haircut. So, Fluminense starts off with a goal. It was kind of tight, not much going on, just kind of like a midfield battle. Fluminense scores a decent goal. I remember seeing it was a decent goal, top ends. Then going into the second half, Al Hilal manages to tie it, and then towards the end of the game, I think it was Hercules. He gets a rebound off of his own shot, or he shoots it from very far out, hits somebody. Fluminense recovers. Hercules continues his run going into the box this time. They slip him through, and he just slots it home. I think Al Hilal and Fluminense. I think Al Hilal was more organized. They have Filippo Inzaghi, a very, very, very good coach, against a Brazilian team who just kind of just plays. I think they play more of a instead of like an organized system. They play more of like I think it's like a relational system. So they'll play players depending on who they feel like is good. Like they'll play you out of position if they feel like you and so let's say you traditionally are a right back, but you have very, very good chemistry with the left winger. They'll play you left back, instead of playing right back, because they see that system being better than you playing in your position if you don't have the best chemistry with your player, with your winger, which is kind of it's interesting. And it's cool to see, because then you get plays like you see where they just kind of like just touch and just kind of everybody's everywhere, and as long as you know you drop and defend and do your part, there's no issue. You will get exposed for sure, but I mean now they're in the semifinals of a Club World Cup competing against teams like Chelsea, Real Madrid, PSG, which nobody I think ever would have expected that. I think these Brazilian teams come in with a lot of desire because it's a lot more money for them versus what, you know, like Real Madrid and PSG and Bayern Munich, what they're used to, right? 50 million for Fluminense is a lot more than 50 million for Real Madrid.
And I think just making it to this stage, each team gets 10 million.
Yeah, you get bonuses each time you make it pass around.
Which 10 million for Fluminense it's gotta be huge, you know.
It is definitely a lot of money, but these are Brazilian teams who sell, you know, players like Vinicius, Rodrigo, Paqueta, all these players, they left their teams for a lot of money. Do they manage it the best way possible? I can't really say much about that. I'm not too invested into the Brazilian league to say, are these directors, really sharing that wealth and trying to build on it, or are they just cash grabbing and seeing
the fact that Fluminense made it this far? I think they've been doing a good job, especially with. Look who they have as their manager, Felipe Luis. Look who
that's Flamengo.
That's Flamengo.
Yeah, Fluminense has they don't. I don't know who their coach is, to be honest. They used to have this other guy who coached Brazil for a little bit.
But Thiago plays for.
Yeah, they have Thiago Silva, and Thiago Silva is like another coach on the field, which is a huge plus.
Honestly, there's a clip where it shows Thiago talking to the team. It's getting tight, but he kind of tells them, "Hey, let's do a 3-4-2 or something," and you get on this side because they're trying to attack you on this side and put this guy over here. And the coach just says, all right, let's do it, you're going to trust Thiago Silva, and they go with what he says and they manage to get the win, but he's going to be, I think you've said it too, like when Thiago Silva comes to his time, he's going to be a great coach,
Mm-hmm.
He's a huge leader. I think he's the reason Fluminense made it this far, and it's just good to see, because these guys have the experience, they got the credibility, and you put it into your team. You're not just there to play, but you step up, make decisions. Your team trusts you, and you go with it, and it works out. It must feel amazing for Thiago Silva right now,
Yeah, I think Fluminense.
40-something years old.
Yeah, I think Fluminense is definitely an old squad if you look at their players, which is interesting to see how they've been, playing relatively at a high level, all these games. Could it be that they're, in the middle of their season where they're in better shape, more condition? Who knows? Maybe better used to these fields. I think that's another thing. European teams play based on a wet field because that's how they play. Meanwhile, over here in the U.S., the pitches are more dry, causing the ball to have a little bit more drag and not be so fast. That's one thing you could maybe argue, but I think that's nitpicking. Fluminense is very strong, and I think that they had a very difficult road to the semifinals. Playing Inter, and then now playing recently Al Hilal, who knocked out Man City. Now they're gonna have to play Chelsea versus Real Madrid's run, where they played in shambles Juve and Dortmund, who are both going through a little bit of a reshuffling, reconstruction. So definitely props to Fluminense for getting to this point. Chelsea, on the other hand,
I feel like they also had a comfortable run.
They had a comfortable run, but now going against Fluminense, what's your take on that? Do we see a Fluminense final, or do we see a Chelsea final, in your opinion?
I think it's going to be a good game. Both teams are going to give out. Just what I saw from Chelsea against... who did they play?
Chelsea? Palmeiras?
Palmeiras. Just the way they played against Palmeiras, another big Brazilian team. Pretty comfortable. I think it's Fluminense is going to be a little more stronger, but I think PSG is still going to come out with the win.
PSG?
Or Chelsea. Just the way they looked, looking very solid, strong, and I don't think Fluminense has enough quality to kind of outshine that. They got the heart, they got the gut. Can it overcome that? I think so, but I think it's going to be a Chelsea final.
Chelsea final. I think it's like we've been betting against these teams, these Brazilian teams, the whole I guess predictions that we've been giving.
Not really.
I think this is my time to really say I think Fluminense is going to be in the final, just because Chelsea's a team that I think they choke a lot because they don't have leaders within their squad. They're all young, and I think when that happens is you either underestimate your opponents or you overestimate your qualities. And I think that their lack of experience and lack of having players that have, gotten wins in big tournaments and in big moments, I think that's not gonna help them really. And I'm gonna go against what you're saying and go Fluminense for this one. I think that
Copama.
I don't think they have. I don't think they have it. I think Fluminense comes in with a lot more momentum because they've been beating bigger teams, I think, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, granted, Inter isn't the Inter that we all know, and they played Al Hilal, not necessarily Man City. Even though they beat Man City, Al Hilal
still tough opponents.
Yeah, Al Hilal is a tough team, but I have my faith in Fluminense. Hopefully, they can follow through, and it would be cool to see a Brazilian team versus a European team in the final.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean that's what this Club World Cup's all about. I mean, we could all sit here and say that the European teams are going to dominate and that we're going to see an all-European final, but yeah, this is the Club World Cup's kind of trying to bring, having these strange games, Palmeiras, Chelsea. You'll never see that again. Teams like Auckland, playing against Boca Juniors, something that you won't typically see. And, funny enough, they actually tied that game, Boca versus Auckland. Auckland, a team of semi-pro people that all have jobs, playing against Boca, one of the more historically, famous teams of this region. So that was cool to see. But yeah, I got Fluminense. And on the other side of the coin, we have PSG versus Real Madrid. PSG that is extremely, extremely developed, well-oiled machine versus Real Madrid, who's barely trying to figure things out, who has not been tested, to be honest. What's your take?
This is going to be a tough one. Just because, PSG is looking really strong. They've been good. They've just been really good, and every time I bet against them, they prove me wrong. Real Madrid, I like what they got cooking, but you're right, they haven't been tested. And, as you can see against Dortmund, they can easily let a game slip away. And if they're not on top of it against PSG, then, you saw what happened to Inter and PSG. 5-0, it's ridiculous. I know PSG is looking at losing a couple of defenders. Real Madrid is looking at Dean Huijsen, who has been huge for them this Club World Cup. But it's not to say that they don't have other stars on the bench, So I think both teams are going to go in. I think there's going to be a lot of goals. It's going to be a good, entertaining game. But at the beginning, our first podcast prediction was I predicted Real Madrid to win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's looking 50-50 for me, but I'm gonna go ride my gut and say Real Madrid's gonna win it.
Yeah, I think with all the red cards that happen to being specifically for defending players, I think what you said is gonna happen. There's gonna be a lot of goals, just because Dean Huijsen is somebody who okay, like maybe you could say like Real Madrid hasn't been tested, so they haven't had to have that much defensive duties. Dean Huijsen helps out so much in the offense too, though.
He's so good on the ball.
Because he gives extremely good balls into that attacking. He's so quick at playing in those balls into the attackers. That helps create the ball. Create the game. PSG is definitely going to let Real Madrid kind of try to take the tempo, I think, just like how they did against Bayern Munich, and try to exploit them on the counters. But PSG's midfield is very, very strong, where they will press you and they will win that ball back. Fabian Ruiz is super techy, and then you have João Neves, who just runs the whole game, and then Vitinha, who's so good at picking out a pass. So it'll be interesting to see that midfield duel with Valverde, Jude Bellingham against them. I wonder if he's going to try to put a different formation to try to overload that midfield so that it's not a 3v2. Maybe try to pull up a center back or pull in one of those wing backs to try to help the overload. But then you have the other side of the coin where you try to do that. Well, now you're exploited because those wingers are extremely good at switching off into a counter, and so it'll be interesting. I think Real Madrid isn't at their full potential. I think they still need to do some business in the transfer window, and they still need to iron out the kinks in their system. I think PSG is going to go through. I mean, I would love to be proven wrong as a Real Madrid fan, but realistically speaking, this PSG's team is scary. They scare me. I have nightmares of... Kvaratskhelia is just a crack. Desiree Doué is super techy, super good.
So young.
Barcola, my biggest pet peeve of Barcola is he can't finish, but he's so good at getting in there. And Ousmane Dembélé is so good, so unpredictable, good on both feet. You can't really defend him. So we'll see how it goes. I think, and then on top of that, you have those fullbacks. Hakimi and Nuno Mendes, who just love to push up, who love to be involved in the attack. I think Hakimi more than Nuno Mendes, but Nuno Mendes is just a strong player. It's gonna be cool to see Vinicius versus Hakimi. We'll see how that. Maybe Vinicius is dangerous enough to not allow Hakimi to push up so much.
I was gonna say they need to. The Real Madrid's last formation was a 4-3-3.
Before, I mean, Ancelotti always played a 4-3-3.
No, the last
couple games they switched to
the last game.
It was a 3-4-2-1.
They played with no. I think that was the one before that one. The one against BVB was. I'm pretty sure they had 4 defenders. Let's see. The reason I say that is just because I feel like you're gonna have to play at least 3 forwards so they could keep the fullbacks back and kind of allow them to help up there. Because Hakimi is such a beast up top and he scores. You know, if you're able to keep him in the defense, like you said, like you're going to say, fucking Vinny strong enough to keep him down. Yeah, they played 4-1-2-1-2. Vinny, Garcia, Bellingham, everybody. You get this might be the game we see Rodrigo or Güler. No, I think we're gonna see Güler on the right. Keeping them busy. I don't know. That's what I want to do. Keep the fullbacks busy in the back so they're not much of a threat going forward. You're still playing that risk, you know. Let's say you lose a ball, you get countered, and then they push up. You're just gonna make sure that everybody's defending together.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep those fullbacks back, and you just only force a 3 and not add 4 or 5 players into the mix, which we've seen PSG is really good at. You know, they're cooking. They cross the ball. Hakimi comes in out of nowhere, gets a goal because he's unmarked. You know, but you keep him in the back. You keep them occupied. That's a less player that PSG has to cook with, and they're ballers. You know, Nuno Mendes scores for Portugal. You know, he's deadly. You have both sides, best fullbacks in the game right now. So I don't know. It's very. I'm pretty sure both managers right now are cooking in their heads, seeing what's good, but I don't know. We'll see what Xabi Alonso rides with.
Yeah.
They can't do 3 in the back. They just lost a center back. You know, that's what I'm also trying to get at.
Yeah, so I think we'll see what happens.
They might drop Tchouaméni or Valverde.
Nah, Valverde. I don't think Valverde would ever play center back, but Tchouaméni has done it. I think Tchouaméni gets exposed when he's back there because he's a traditional CDM who has, you know, his whole career played knowing that there's someone behind him. But when you're center back, no one's behind you. So with fast strikers, I would rather Tchouaméni play CDM and, you know, try to stop the attacks before they even get there as a stopper, and keep. I think Asensio is really fast, so I mean this red card isn't so devastating because you'll have Asensio back there. Asensio has been exposed though this tournament, so we'll see how that goes. I think with Pacho getting the red card I think it's a big letdown, I think, for PSG's tactics because he's that physical defender that comes in and does the dirty work for Marquinhos. So we'll see how that works out. Maybe without him and without Lucas Hernandez, your natural replacement will be Beraldo, and I don't know how much Beraldo can really do in this situation, where because maybe he has less quality, the fullbacks might have to drop to support him. So we'll see how that goes. He has PSG. No, I have PSG. You have Real Madrid going through.
I'm curious to see how Kvaratskhelia and Trent, because I mean that's happened before in Liverpool
With that one Napoli season when they won the league.
and then no, even in the PSG they knocked us out.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And obviously they won the penalty, so it was a close game. But I feel like Trent coming in, he's taking the L already by him, and Trent obviously incoming player. He's got something to prove. Kvaratskhelia is gonna feel like, all right, this is just run it back. But Trent, I know he's a very, prideful man, and doesn't just let things like that slip. And he's gonna try and, he's gonna feel like he's in the spotlight this game.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good head-to-head battle because Kvaratskhelia is very techy. He'll get your bad side, and he'll find the space. But Trent is more of an offensive fullback. So will we see him get exposed in the back, or will Xabi Alonso's tactics kind of tell him, hey, just chill, maybe play those long balls, play the Dean Huijsen role where you're creating the balls from back there. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I still have PSG going through. I would love to be proven wrong. I have PSG Fluminense final. You have a Chelsea Real Madrid final.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. I think whoever gets it right, the other person shaves their head.
Fair enough.
No.
You get 1 and 1, and we just shave half our head.
For real. But yeah, that's the Club World Cup. It's coming to an end. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of transfer topics to talk about after.
Yes.
But now moving on to the Gold Cup final, USA Mexico, the most historically played final.
Yeah. I mean, this is gonna be a tough one because, on paper you'd expect Mexico
Full squad versus a weaker
USA.
version of USA.
But Mexico has not been looking like they've been scraping wins. Like many goals by corner kicks, not many
Open play
goals, and like they're winning by 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, whatever. They're barely winning by a goal when you'd expect them to be the more dominant side against these Central American teams. Obviously they've nothing against them. They've obviously proven to be strong and a threat, especially Honduras and Guatemala. So nothing wrong with them winning 1-0, but they're obviously, they have more teams, they have more players out in Europe, so you'd expect them to be very strong, but for them to barely be scraping wins. USA, they'll have their games, and then they'll have games where they dominate, so it's just a hit or miss with them. So I think it's going to be the same thing coming up actually in 3 hours against Mexico, where either they're going to have a really good game or a bad game, but I still think Mexico will come out on top. But I think it's going to be a close game and not many goals. Maybe even see penalties. I'd rather see penalties than a 1-0 game. It'll be more entertaining. But yeah, I don't know. I'm obviously wearing Mexico. I go for Mexico. I want them to win. But just the way they've been performing, it just kind of let me down. And at this point, I was like, just give me a good game. Just give me a good game. This was for you to win anyway. Give me some goals, But yeah, I still got Mexico winning. I hope Mexico wins. But yeah, I don't want to see the game against Honduras, barely any shots, any chances really. They're both very, just being solid. But I'm going to be watching this game, so hoping for a good game. But I think technically, Mexico will be the better players. will be stronger. USA is gonna not let that slide though. But Lalo's been putting in work. I'm hoping these guys can shine, make a good game. Mexico wins 2-1, 3-2, something in that genre.
Yeah, I think it's going to be definitely a tight game. I think that you could say Mexico hasn't had the best of games, and to be honest, they still haven't convinced me, especially in that first half. The first half, they always, I feel like, let opportunities pass by and not fully take advantage of them, and that's my biggest pet peeve with this Mexico.
Yeah, they'll create chances, but they need to finish.
Yeah. But I think that Mexico's been a little bit screwed by the refs. I think these offside calls are not offside because the play has to restart as soon as the defender touches it, the defender from the opposite team. So, okay, in the original play when it's getting played in, if they are offside, that's not the play that the person gets the ball. So like the Santi Jimenez goal against Costa Rica, he was offside when they played in the free kick, but from that free kick, the defender clears it, and when the defender clears it, Santi Jimenez is not on an outside position, so it restarts at that point. Again, with Edson Alvarez, when at the time of Piojo Alvarado plays in that ball, he is slightly offside, but then it gets restarted because the goalie and the defender try to clear it. He's obviously behind them, and then he comes in. So these are frustrating plays, and they're kind of just saying, well, if they call that one offside, then I have to call this one offside. But they're both, in my opinion, wrong. It is what it is. It's not very much of an excuse. I think that if you want to win a game, it's never the ref's fault. It's always your fault, depending on if you could beat a team or not. Sure, there's instances where refs can blatantly be against you, but I think we're past that with all these, with VAR, with everything being broadcasted. It's kind of, you're not going to find a game that a ref completely blew out a game and obviously was, helping out the other team. So nowadays I think that refs are as objective as they can, and if they get it wrong, they got it wrong because they got it wrong, not because they were trying to manipulate the scoreline. But I think Mexico comes in as the favorites in this game just because of the squad that they've been able to have versus the USA squad not being their full squad. Mexico has grown a lot over these last couple of months that Vasco Aguirre has taken over with Rafa Marquez. And I mean, sure, we want to see open play goals, but a corner kick is still part of the game, and if you could take advantage of it, that's a plus. So it is what it is. I mean, we'd love to see 4-0 games where maybe one goes from a corner kick and the rest of the goals are from tactical open play games. But
a goal's a goal at the end of the day. Yeah, you're right.
You have to take advantage of your situation. This USA team, like we've time and time said it before, they're not at their full depth, which is going to hinder them in this game. We'll see what happens. I mean, it could be biased faith or whatever, but I still have Mexico winning this game, just because I think they are the better squad, and Mexico has not been tested. I think all their games, like Malagon has barely had to make a save this whole tournament. So, I mean, it is what it is. We haven't been really tested. USA, I don't think they've also been tested, if I'm being fair to them. I mean, Guatemala overachieved, and before Guatemala they played Costa Rica. They went to penalties, so I guess that was their real test. But yeah, I mean, their group stage was relatively comfortable, and yeah, I mean, this kind of tournament has always been set up for a Mexico-USA final, and that's happened a lot of times before, but we're here again, and I think it's going to be in Mexico.
We predicted Mexico from the get-go, no?
Yeah, we predicted Mexico-USA, I think. That's how predictable this tournament really is. But yeah, I still, and I think we said Mexico's going to win it before, and I think we're still on that same.
Yeah, I think so.
On that same train. I think it's going to be tight, but I think it's not going to go to penalties. I think Mexico's going to win it 1-0.
Yeah, they have to win. If they lose against the USA without their best players, I mean, what's that say, you know?
Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be interesting to see that game, I guess. But I think it's gonna be a 1-0 game. Mexico's game to lose definitely, and yeah, USA is gonna lose in their backyard again.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it for this one. So we'll catch you guys after, and we'll tell you. You'll see our reactions, I guess, to the game on hopefully Monday.
When's semis for the?
I can't tell. I don't know myself. If you want to check, you can check it. But the Gold Cup final is tonight, Sunday. We'll try to get this uploaded before. And then going into the Club World Cup, we're not going to see games until
July 8th.
So today's the 6th. So
On
Tuesday.
2 days.
On Tuesday. So we'll see semis on Tuesday, probably Tuesday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Monday. And then probably the final's going to be on Sunday or Saturday of next week. So
I know it'd be cool if we could get like some live games streaming for you guys. But I think at the time the games are semis are at 12. The final will be on the 13th, which is
next Saturday.
Sunday, no?
What day is today? Today's the 6th? Yeah, so it should be Sunday.
13th, Sunday. And the game is 12. So we get a Club World Cup final stream. If that's something you guys want to see for all our 6 viewers. But, you know, that'd be something cool, you know, kind of do. But at least we'll be here watching the game. But yeah, I think that's it. And then it's transfer season, baby.
Transfer season. We'll see. Maybe other teams have already started. I think Manchester United today reported for their preseason. So maybe by the time the Club World Cup is over, we'll start to see some preseason matches. If not, we'll try to. I don't think. Well, we're not trying to be like a news source for you guys. We're trying to more be giving our 2 cents on the world of football and our opinion and how we feel things could happen and stuff. So, I mean, we're not going to be posting every transfer, but we'll try to talk to you guys and break down stuff and hopefully get your guys' opinion and kind of have a back and forth about what's best for this team, what's best for that team. So,
I like that. Yeah, and if there's ever anything you guys want to see or want us to talk about, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. But that's pretty much it.
yeah, so appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you guys like, what you guys don't like, and we'll try our best to continue the content for you guys.
We'll see you soon.
Peace.